I've heard young leaders talk with me about a term they've coined called climate anxiety. Right? Which is fear of the future and the unknown, of whether it makes sense for you to even think about having children, whether it makes sense for you to think about aspiring to buy a home, because what will this climate be? But because people voted, we have been able to put in place over $1 trillion in investment in our country around things like climate resilience and adaptation, around focusing on issues like environmental justice, and understanding that despite what these extremist so-called leaders are trying to do when they're trying to get rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, we know that we're going to stay committed to issues like equity, because here's the thing. Yeah, we want everyone to have an equal amount, but not everyone starts out on the same base. And so if you give everyone an equal amount, but you don't start out in the same base, you're still going to end up with people being treated differently. Equity says, let's take that into account. And young voters and young leaders are then in a position, and have been, to fight against these extremists who try to say things like DEI are bad. Because they don't want to have a conversation about equity and inclusion and have a conversation that's about saying, well, as a leader, can you pay attention to who's not in the room and then figure out a way to invite them in?
Thank you.
And leave the door open?